Hi everyone, my name is Hala Kianfar. I'm the Director of Product at Gracenote. Welcome for joining the show today. We're going to be talking about how analytics is going to help drive the media industry, and I'll be talking through some of those slides with you today. So great to see everybody in person, and let's get this going. So we've all been experiencing the disruption and chaos and the amount of content being made today. But how much content is really out there? What are these numbers? So taking a look at what's available in a 24-hour programming window today at your disposal, we have over 50,000 shows and 80,000 movies available for viewers to consume an on-demand experience across 73 different streaming services. That's over 120,000 hours of content at any given time that someone can actually consume. So when the competition is this fierce and the timing is tight, you really need to lean into analytics and trusted data sets to help you make the best content strategy decisions. So what can data and analytics tools do for you? Well, first of all, you need to have a great macro view of the fragmented landscape. So what that means is having a trusted source at the bottom that centralizes all of your content with a normalized taxonomy that's been trusted in the industry to help you first navigate what is happening. Second is to understand targeted audiences and get a real micro level view of what is happening in specifics. Ultimately, the goal is to find out the right content to distribute and have optimized analytics tools to be able to do these decisions quickly in a continuously optimization-driven world. So who are we and who is Gracenote? Gracenote is the world's leading global entertainment data company. We power set-top boxes, streaming services. We are the largest entertainment data company across 83 countries and 35 languages. Our metadata is the de facto standard for distributing and helping to discover content in the ecosystem. Attached to us, of course, is Nielsen. Nielsen is the gold standard in audience measurement. And between these two is the link of the Gracenote ID that really brings in the first class metadata for Gracenote along with the first class Nielsen audience measurement data. And what really this allows you for the first time to do is do competitive analysis with two trusted sources in the industry. And that's exactly what we're here to discuss. So what are we doing? Gracenote is leaning into content analytics for the first time. And with that, our goal is to achieve three things. One, give you a deeper understanding of the evolving viewer. Who are they and what are their needs? Really understand not only what they're watching, but how they're consuming content and why. And really, the ultimate goal is to get insights into the various content characteristics that is drawing your audiences in and the potential performance that they can bring for you. Again, all of this is possible built on the trusted source of Gracenote and Nielsen metadata coming together. So let's start with first understanding the evolving viewer. So today, it's projected that by 2044, the US is going to become a majority minority. And with that, 2/3 of people of color prefer to see representative content. So even with more content choices out there, audiences are feeling underserved. More specifically, 58% Black and 45% Latino audiences say that the representation of their identity on screen is lacking. So Gracenote listened, and earlier this year we launched a product called Gracenote Inclusion Analytics. We decided that measuring and understanding representation on screen, as well as the representation of the audience, is key to ensuring that we have an inclusive media landscape, not only for those who don't feel represented, but to help enhance the media business so that we make sure that we're hitting all the audiences that we have. So our product measures three core metrics. First is called share of screen. This share of screen is a measurement of the representation that the talent brings on set. So we'll take the top representative characters and ensure that we have representative data, and we measure that against the share of audience. So it's not about who's on the screen, but also who's watching. And is there a correlation between share of audience as well as share of screen? How does that compare to the general population? And so one of the main metrics that we have is called the Inclusion Opportunity Index. This is really helping to identify shows that have greater representation on their program as compared to the general society. Is it actually pushing the needle or not? And so using our metrics across programs, you could see individually what that representation looks like, but also you can see it from a network level, a distributor level, as well as the total TV market. All of this information can also be generalized using our genre metadata. So it's not just about what's bringing representation and what's bringing viewership, but also how are people represented? And are there any biases or are there opportunities for us as a media to improve? So does this really work? Well, we're looking at Nora from Queens, which is an Aquafina show, bringing in high Asian Pacific Islander representation on screen. We were able to analyze this particular programming against all other programming on this network. And we've noticed that not only are more people generally leaning in to watch this one particular program, but it's also drawing in a high female audience as well, a high Asian Pacific Islander audience to this network that historically were not Comedy Central viewers. So not only are the viewership high, but it's actually bringing in new viewers. Today, it's more important than ever to understand programs that are helping you acquire viewers, and representation data in this way has proven that, as you can see, 30% increase in the Asian Pacific Islander audience base that has historically never watched Comedy Central is a huge lift. So not only is representation and inclusive data good for your viewers, but the advertisers are actually leaning in as well. So looking at 1,000 of the top brands that have spent money across programming, almost 78% of them are putting their dollars against programs that have at least one high level of representation for previously underrepresented groups across Black, Latinx, female, LGBTQ+, and Asian Pacific Islander. So not only is representative and inclusive content good for your viewers, but it's definitely good for business as well. So now that we've talked a little bit about the evolving viewer and what they're leaning into, it's now important to understand the characteristics of how they're actually consuming this content. So just because you get them doesn't mean that they're staying. And so one of the interesting new metrics that Gracenote Content Analytics is serving are, one, the bingeability of a program. So what is the propensity of your viewer to come and sit and watch an episode over an episode and over an episode? Are they watching multiple ones at a time? How loyal is your viewer? Just because they started a season or a series, are they actually completing the entire show? And ultimately, what is drawing them to this program? What's the affinity of the viewer to that program? What are the characteristics that are drawing into them? These are the three key areas in which we are leaning in to help solve for. Once you've understood the viewing behaviors of what your audience is, it's really important then to make these insights actionable. And by what I mean by that is, first of all, saying, I understand my viewer, I understand who I'm trying to target, I understand their viewership, but how do I make this into something that's for me, whether I'm looking to acquire content, looking to properly distribute content, or even develop. And so there are core program similarity algorithms, whether by similar audience or similar program characteristics, that are built on top of these insights to actually allow you to find the content you're looking for. And the content, again, is our centralized metadata that has the global landscape of content available. The second piece of this is the Audience Predict product. So the Gracenote Audience Predict product takes Gracenote metadata along with the Nielsen audience measurement data, puts advanced machine learning into here to predict future ratings of your show. So being able to not only identify the programming that's right for you, but actually model it out in real time to see for your specific network or your distribution what the lift would be, are very sophisticated ways to help you guys make real-time decisions. So this is a lot of information. The real way to understand all of this is to just put it all together and show you guys an example. So in the next slide, what we're showing you is first using our metrics to identify a highly bingeable and loyal program like Friends. We all know Friends. And clearly that's a more well-known title, but this can also be applied specifically for your own network programming or streaming. And leveraging the Gracenote metadata, we have information around themes, characters, moods, tones, settings, and really allows you to draw deeper understanding of the underlying emotions and information that is drawing your viewership. So it's not just this is a comedy, but really trying to do a deeper subgenre analysis to understand what is drawing your viewers. Once you've identified the program that is a right fit for your network or is doing well, what you really want to do is say, okay, great, what next? And that's really where the similarity comes into play, leveraging, as I mentioned before, all of the metadata that we have as Gracenote, which is the standard in the media landscape, so that when you're doing comparisons from programs to programs, it's actually apples to apples because it's all unified content definitions. And so there's two ways that you can look at finding similar programs. The first one is saying those who watched Friends, based on a clustering algorithm, what else do they tend to watch? And we're able to tell you that the audience that's drawn to Friends is also drawn to programs like Saved by the Bell. And with the algorithm, there's also a similarity score for you to understand the confidence rate. The second way of looking at this, as I mentioned earlier, was purely through program characteristics, which allows you to say, taking those deeper understanding of metadata, the themes, the tones, the moods, how can we extract that to find relative content? And that's how you would then look at How I Met Your Mother, that has 82% similarity with Friends. That's not where you stop. In order for you to be able to make the optimal decision, what you really need to do is run models to understand with our Audience Predict, what is this going to do for your network? If you have the ability to license this content, and again, these are clearly more popular programs, but that's not the case. This can be done for any program, for any market, etc. And understand, is this going to bring incremental lift to my platform? Is this going to draw additional viewers? What distribution strategy or what scheduling window can I be looking at to optimize my ROI in this content investment? And having these tools at your fingertips to be able to do this in real time as you are looking to make your content decisions and your investments is paramount. And so looking at this, you can see not only are both shows providing incremental lift to your network, but we can tell you that, well, the 11% Saved by the Bell is slightly better, and so if you have to choose between one of them, you can make the optimal choice by getting Saved by the Bell. So again, this is just a sample analysis of what can be done, leveraging the end-to-end of the Gracenote Content Analytics suite of tools. As I mentioned earlier, Gracenote metadata and measurement starts from the development lifecycle. We have information around centralizing all the metadata So with all the mergers and acquisitions and split-offs happening, getting a real understanding of this fragmented landscape in one centralized database is paramount to any analysis. So that's the next step. Of course, with the content analytics focused tools that we're offering to be able to make content investment decisions, to then really figure out the distribution strategy. We have the metadata, the same metadata that you're doing your content analytics with, to help actually power search and discovery for these programs in the ecosystem, and ultimately get your content and your network in front of the customer. So Gracenote and its Gracenote ID, powered by also the Nielsen measurement data, altogether really brings the full life cycle of media in one centralized fashion. So my name is Holly, and it was really nice speaking to you today. I'm going to make myself available via email and after the show if you guys have any questions. I really appreciate the time to see everyone in person, and I hope you have a great show. Thank you.